Now, I did quite a lot of work previously on Antarctica, and I see it's come back up in the news here quite a bit. Now, of course, we had that Kerry visit to Antarctica, and of course, Alex Jones and Darbu 7, and this channel here, the Outer Dark, and no doubt innumerable amount of channels. And I've seen ones before, of course, on that Russian patriarch visiting down there, and everybody's really making huge things of it. But one thing I reckon is Antarctica's quite a fraud. And I think all of these visits to Antarctica are just to keep the fraud going. And what I mean, there are islands south of South America, I think, and there's some south of Australia and New Zealand. And that's what they fabricate up as Antarctica. What else is down there type thing? I think it's the Never Never. One day I might make a video explaining what I mean there. But irrespective of that, I'm going to play this bit of video. I'm going to show you a few things in this video that are quite wrong. And not surprisingly, this video's only been up a short while, I'm thinking. It's already had incredible amount of views since January 19. These sort of channels, are getting these all the time. With this view count, because they're pushing anything that's getting pushed like this. I had tremendous trouble there because I had a really good video that was obviously getting shared just because of the quality of the work, and they pull it down. But this sort of thing, which has got that sort of fear element, and I'll show you as I play it through, I'll show you a couple of things I really didn't like, especially the Russians finding the Nazi base. And go and watch my video on that one. That was such a bad hoax. And this guy carries on like it's so fantastic.
First, some context. Antarctica is a barren, vast region, almost twice the size of the United States, and at the southern hemisphere, south of New Zealand. That is, it's massive. It's a massive, huge landmass, and covered in ice. There is large scrolling reserves of ice-capped mountains and rocky land. But what is the mystery? Well, no.
See, we don't know any of that. I'm going to jump ahead here, get to where he gets into the meat of it. Here he is talking about the krill guy, and isn't it quite interesting how he plays penguin, with the penguins? And I think this is as fraud has, wasn't it? I called that in a video fraud, and I'm sticking to my guns. Remember the church thing and all that? It was all bodgy. So much bodginess attached to Antarctica. You can never get too excited about all these stories in the press about it.
That is the ideal location for humanity. Now think about that for a moment. Antarctica is a barren wasteland full of rocky mountains and ice. Is that really the ideal place for humanity? John Kerry's flight to Antarctica. That is, out of all the days in the year that John Kerry could fly to Antarctica, he flew on November the 8th, that is election day in the United States, as if he knew something or heard something, and he had to arrive in Antarctica immediately. That is, he flew out on the day of the United States presidential elections. Let that sink in, not at any other time of the year, but the day of the elections.
I must admit that is a bit interesting, but it's probably one part of the video that I think, well, he says something with a bit of decent content there. And then he moves up, he's got Buzz Aldrin. This bit's alright too, where he talks about Buzz Aldrin being a Freemason. But he's not probably calling the moon a hoax, I don't think, this particular channel either, of course.
In the intelligence sector, as also as someone that is a 33-degree Freemason, that is a lifetime Freemason. Lockheed Martin is now in Antarctica, and they are hiring. And Lockheed Martin doesn't show up to build some pipelines, or to build some beds for some scientists, or maintain runways.
It looks like the same sort of fraud stuff I've covered in Antarctica before. Lockheed Martin in Antarctica. Well, anything about Lockheed Martin's bound to be fraud.
They work with SAT programs, that is highly classified departmentalized special access programs, for the United States intelligence and military circuit. They are involved in...
See, this guy's pushing, that's what Antarctica looks like. Well, I've got big problems with that. See, so he's pushing all this conspiracy theory, but he's not telling you the bigger conspiracy, in my opinion, is that Antarctica doesn't look like this. Not at all. Because the Earth, I reckon, is a flat plane and Antarctica will wrap around. But I don't think it's the ice wall idea and all that. There's small islands that have those things. But beyond that, the outer, of the world, I think it's a little bit different to what people think. And that's probably the big thing they're hiding. In a way, Anyway, we'll proceed here. So this is a big topic and I'll have to do a few videos on this.
This program. programs for the United States intelligence and military circuit. They are involved in places like Groom Lake, Nevada, and build things like this and this. If they say they're building pipelines, then you know something big is going down. The US spy boss James Clapper has been reported to have made a secret visit to New Zealand, which of course is the gateway to Antarctica. This he did in mid-March, where he met with Prime Minister John Key. So ask yourself, why would the head of the CIA make a visit to the Southern Hemisphere? You don't do this. You do this through diplomats. That is what they're there for. That is trusted people that you can pass intelligence information on. That is, unless you need to see something for yourself with your own eyes. This in itself is a kind of warning.
Yeah, he's building up some big mystery that's down there. See, you know, that could be the psyop in itself. And these channels have been leaked out, sort of these ideas to push. Again, it's going to take me a few days to think about all this and absorb it all this information that's been coming out about these things over the last few weeks. We've all been sort of worried a bit more about Trumpy. But there's been these other things carrying on, of course, as we said about Kerry going there.
Another very interesting note that's come to light just this year, that is in October. Number one, it's hard to say what's really going on in Antarctica. Is there some
Now that is true. One bit of truth.
kind of base there, some kind of super city for the apocalypse?
No, I'm not liking all that stuff. That's what they're pushing, see. They're pushing all sorts of bullshit like this, you know. We've seen it for years. It's a bit like the moon, too. Bases on the moon, and, you know, it's never going to happen, is it? 'Cause the moon isn't like they say either, is it now, you know? See, there's a lot in this psyop, a hoax on hoax. Comes to mind again.
Or maybe ancient ruins that are so shocking, the political establishment.
Oh, ancient ruins coming to mind as well. Oh, look out. They could have fabricated some up, no doubt.
Establishment's freaking out. But what is the evidence really that there is something strange there? Do we have any evidence at all? Well, we have one thing, and that's a very strange satellite image. An image taken from Google Earth. The exact location will be placed in the description, of course, so you can confirm it independently by yourselves. Now what is this? Take a look. Well, it can't.
Oh, well, here we go. Here we go. I didn't see this before. I was jumping around. Oh, this is the beauty, isn't it? It's the Google satellite image, and this guy's just loving it. Look at this, he's saying. Look at this. Yeah, I'm looking at it, mate. Cartoon.
Be natural. No matter how you look at this, it is clearly artificial. There is a set of
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's half right. It is artificial. Oh, look at the jokery here. Let's look around for a 7 here in the landscape. There'll no doubt be one somewhere. Looks very yonny, like the big vagina. That'll do. An idea. There's funny markings on the ground over here too, are looking a bit funny. See what happens here.
Protrusions around the outside of the object in symmetrical mathematical rows. That is, artificial again. On the surface, there is no
Oh, look out. Oh, it look like as we're zooming in, we're going to get a 7 here, maybe.
telling what this could be. The cave behind, however, is 30 meters, or about 100 feet, which makes the opening massive. And if you look at the...
Oh, well, this looks like some sort of sea mollusk to me. You know, put it down on a bit of sand and take a photo of it. Fair dinkum. He's got another thing, or he's got a barmer here. He's still got this map, see? What's he got up here? What he's saying here now?
As members of one family, unquote. The reason I find Obama and Russian visits to Antarctica very strange is the following. There was another country, another regime, that visited Antarctica just before a Great World War started. The Nazis led an expedition of 33 members, including scientists, to Antarctica, just before the start of World War II in September 1939. Their expedition to New Swabia lasted from December 1938 to February 1939. It is known that the Nazis took thousands of photos using airplanes during this expedition. They also took reels of colored film, which was rare at the time and very expensive to produce. The regime was clearly looking for something.
Yes, this is all sounding more and more so when I watch all this and the way they talk about it. Needs a little bit more thought. I'll be waiting on some comments from some people here that I know sort of good thinkers on this. We know that this guy was all a fraud. He's going to have Bird here now.
So I'm willing to say to you that there will be a number of expeditions that will follow, I think, year after year.
Richard Byrd verified that Antarctica wasn't about resources, but rather that the Nazis had established secret bases for some reason. Perhaps they were protecting something. Operation High Jump, coordinated by Byrd, which included US, Russian, Australian.
There was 12 there. Did you see the 12? The 1, 2? There, go on. Hoaxcraft going on here.
And British forces, was meant to close in on the Nazis' strange operations in Antarctica. We'll return to Richard Byrd later on in this video.
It is definitely an interesting topic, what they're doing here with this idea of Antarctica and what it really is, you know. And again, I'll do a bit more research. And has anyone come up with anything since I did my original, you know, videos on the bases, like that Barati base? Now, that was terrible. So when you see that's bad, what else is bad, you know, and you sort of add up this and that over there, and you say they're having a Lenders here somewhere. That's the best we can think of at the moment. And then there's these videos coming up, 100,000 views real fast. I pump that idea out. And I bet there's a dozen videos, something like this, on this sort of topic around. I can hear Alex Jones going on about this, and I can hear Darbu. So, you know, that's a problem there, isn't it?
Theosophists who had a profound influence on their philosophy and esotericism. Helena Blavatsky suggested that inner Earth was not the place of hell, but a place where the master race lived. Admiral Richard Byrd is arguably one of the most controversial voices on the subject of Hollow Earth. The truth is that Byrd organized a mission called Operation High Jump to stop Nazi ambitions in Antarctica even after World War II had ended. It was officially...
yeah, well, that's all rubbish. We've established that before. So there you go, folks. I'll be looking more at this topic, and so look out for some more videos on Antarctica again. And you can go back and look at my videos that I've done on Antarctica to do with fake bases. The bases were shocking.